Good evening, everyone. Welcome to On Deck here on FTSN. I am honored to have my former co-host back, Rob Mosley, back on the show. I'm stoked for tonight, not to talk a lot of Red Sox because we know I'm a Yankees fan, but this is all baseball show, so we talk the Red Sox, but I'm pumped to have Rob back on. Rob, it's been a while. How we doing?
I can't complain, man. Can't complain. It's good to be talking baseball here with you tonight. I know we're still kind of relatively early into the offseason, but it's been kind of dragging for some teams other than some little signings here and there. But winter meetings is right around the corner next week, and hopefully we start getting a lot more traction from the baseball news coming out.
Yeah, baseball usually moves slow. We've had a couple news. We're gonna jump into the Red Sox, getting into that nitty gritty. I do want to throw in a couple signings we've had so far. Get your opinions. We had Frankie Montas signed 2 years, $34 million with the Mets. I like that signing. I think that's they need some pitching. The one I was interested in was this happened last week. I brought up, but I definitely got you on. Blake Snell signs 5 years, 182 million, defers 66 million. Now, obviously, you were on with me early when we started the show, and we were talking about, uh, Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell holding out long, Scott Boras holding out long, and now what do you think? He's one of the first guys to sign. Do you think he kind of learned his lesson?
Yeah, I think he did. I actually heard an interview. He said he felt like he just was out of rhythm to start the season last year, and it took him a while to get into his groove, and he learned from it. And I think it made it easier for him because I think he told Boris he's a West Coast guy. He came from the state of Washington, and I think he basically said he wanted to stay on the West Coast. So I mean, when he was here with in the South, in on near your area over on
Yeah.
the West Coast of Florida, he always just kind of had his eye on the West Coast. He's I guess he's a kid from out in that region. So he wanted to get back out there. Dodgers, of course, are the money bag for players right now, and it's just we're going to talk Red Sox, but they're just they're going crazy, and they're probably not even done. They may even get the other Japanese pitcher. Who knows? So
That's a whole other story. The Rays are a whole other story too, because I know with the Rays they have a bunch of city council meetings that the St. Petersburg, I think it's Pinellas County, shot down their proposal asking new money for a stadium because they asked for more money after the hurricane because it just destroyed Tampa
yeah,
Bay, St. Pete. So I mean that's a whole other episode we can get into where they end up. I think they're either Tampa Bay or gone because I don't understand why do you stay in St. Pete. Go to at least if you're going to stay in the area, go to Tampa Bay where it's a little bigger metro. Maybe you can get a bigger fan base.
right. No, I know exactly, and it's just
Which
they're gonna be playing in your
yeah.
Yankees little spring training home
Well,
this year.
it's kind of funny when you. I mean, I get a little sidetracked when you look at the Rays payroll. The highest uh, payroll on the roster is having to pay the Yankees for George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa Bay.
I know that's crazy, but they may end up moving out of Florida. They may move to Tennessee or one of those teams
Yeah,
areas that want a baseball. But
we got a handful, and I mean, it's definitely uh, interesting. They've been in St. Pete for since what? I think it was in '98. I want to say. So it'll be interesting, but obviously the hurricane destroyed us on the West Coast here. We got hit pretty. We got like 100, 20-mile-per-hour wind. I'm glad.
I know you got that hammer. We got lucky here on the East Coast this
I
year.
was I was glad I left, but it was not fun. But we're gonna jump right in. Red Sox obviously got a little movement the other day. Red
Yeah,
Sox
they did.
got a little
They
movement.
signed that. Oh, I will let you say, but yeah, they signed Chapman.
Red
So, and
Sox
I
a
know you
little
being a Yankee fan, you have a knowledge of Chapman. We're not even going to talk about his off field. Everyone knows about his off field antics over the years. But as far as, I mean, the Pittsburgh people, they really liked him last year. They just couldn't come to terms with re signing him. But the fans, when you're looking at their reaction, they were disappointed that Chapman walked because he actually did do well. He was in the 99 percentile for, strike rate and all of that, so strikeout rate. He walks people, unfortunately. But the reason the 1 year, I don't mind. 1 year is like a little over 10 million, could go up to 11 with incentives if he, doesn't get hurt and he plays all the numbers and reach some goals. Could get up to 11 million. At first, I was like, "What?" But then the more I read about it, it makes sense. We don't, because the Red Sox, if you look at it, they don't have any verified flamethrowers, and it's like every team now has a guy that throws in the 99s or the hundreds, and the Red Sox were one of the few last year that did not have that guy to go to because, obviously Jansen was our closer last year. At this point, he wasn't getting anywhere close to that speed. Just sticks with the cutter. So to me, it makes, from a baseball perspective, throwing out his personnel side and his walks, I still think it's a good signing for the Red Sox. Because it's 1 year, you don't commit for many years. If he ends up being bad, you walk away, next year. And it's just the market. I mean, it's the market. Some team is going to give him that much money, obviously. So it's
just... you spoke it. Chapman signs 1 year. I think it was $10.25 million.
Right.
He can get it up. Cuban Missile, as they call, can still hit 104 on the mound. I mean, for me, I guess it's a good signing. You get an extra bullpen piece. I hate Aroldis Chapman.
Right.
Being a guy who had him for a good 6 years. I guess he got us a good haul back when with the Cubs there.
And then you got him back and all that. You traded him again.
Gleyber Torres, so that was good because Torres was good for a time, but
I don't think the Red Sox are I could be wrong. He could be the best guy in spring training and win the closer role. But they got the guy, Hendricks, who had been hurt all last year, but he's been on our roster. I think we're looking at him as possibly, but if he has a setback injury ride, maybe Chapman steps in there. But then we got a guy, a few guys that can step up. A guy that we got in a Rule 5 draft, Slayton. We could get him in the bullpen rotation, and who knows? I think our bullpen would be okay. I would like to see another arm, in there. But, for now, and I would definitely want another starter. We would get into those names in a
we'll jump on that. I mean, I have nightmares of Chapman with the Yankees. I don't. It's just, my thing with him, yes, he throws, 104, 100 easily all the time. I'm like, these guys are MLB hitters. They can – you square don't you see it a couple times, they can square it up. I mean, my nightmare.
I know. But like I say, he had let's see, I wrote down the notes. He had 98 strikeouts and 39 walks over 61 innings. So obviously the strikeout that ratio is great, but the walks, 39 walks in 61.2, that's definitely, not that great, but he's averaging just under 99 on his heater last year, which is still in the 91st percentile, and he has 99th percentile in K percentage. And again, I won't get into the walks because then it kind of takes all the fun out of what I would just say, But he was high percentage in those other ones,
I mean, he's always going to get those strikeouts.
He still has some hit and miss, and the Red Sox did not have much hit and miss in there. It was like, put it into play. And when you play 81 of your games at Fenway Park, you don't want a lot of balls in play these days because the ball goes flying with these bigger cats hitting the ball. I mean, pop flies a double wall scraper in Fenway, So it's like you want ground ball pitchers or strikeout pitchers in Fenway,
I mean, yeah, it's a good, he's a guy who can eat up some innings. If he gets that closer role, it's a good sign. If he's back to, his form he was, 3-4 years ago, it's a good pickup. He's dropped down a little bit, but I have nightmares from that Astros Yankees game 7, when Altuve hit that home run to put him over. So, but he does drive me nuts. But I mean, we're going to jump into the bullpen pieces, obviously, in the starting pitcher, but obviously why everybody's here. Juan Soto, Red Sox right there. I mean, we're getting a lot of information on Juan Soto, and I'm getting kind of frustrated because everybody, I jump back. I was on Twitter when I was a scout. When I left scouting, I had to get off Twitter. I think Twitter can be kind of, there's just a cesspool of what I say. I'm not a huge fan, but I had to get on. I want to promote the show because, we got some good followers, got people listening, and I think we're getting a good base. But I had to get back on. But I mean, I'm getting frustrated. Everybody and their mother is throwing a Juan Soto thing out. I'm like, no one knows.
Other than like you saying, until Passan himself, or maybe Cotillo, a couple other guys, but like even Heyman, I don't listen to. Rosenthal, maybe, but Passan's the guy. Once you see him tweet something out, you know that the deal's done and it's locked up and whatever. So that's who. If he's not tweeting it, I don't care, because there's Yankee fans posting stuff that he's going to the Yankees. There's Red Sox fan stuff posting he's going to the Red Sox. There's Mets saying he's for sure a Met because Cohen won't be outbid. And then I'm sure a lot of Blue Jay fans, which I don't happen to have on Twitter. Maybe they're not big Twitter fans, so I don't see what they're saying. But they're probably all hoping he comes to Toronto, and who knows? As long as he doesn't sign with the Dodgers, I would rather him go back to my arch enemy, the Yankees, than the Dodgers. Because if he goes to the Dodgers, it'd just be insane. And it's just by that time, you just got a super team. And it's like, it is what it is. So, for the sake of baseball, hopefully he stays out here on the East Coast and goes to either, of course, the Red Sox, like I say. And it's not even the top of my wish list as far as, I think the overall needs for the Red Sox are. But who's going to turn, he's a generational hitter. So, I mean, he's really what the Red Sox could use, because we had a lot of good hitters last year, but they strike out a lot and wild swingers. And that's definitely the one thing Juan Soto is not. He will take pitches after pitch to the point where some, I know people, Yankee fans, say, oh my God, he takes too many pitches sometimes, because they'd rather him be smacking the ball over the wall a lot more and stuff. So, but the Red Sox could use that. So I'm not going to say I'm going to stub my nose and be mad that we signed the general, but I'm not necessarily going to be really upset if that money that they earmarked for Soto, that they go out and say, okay, we were willing to go over the $600 million mark for Soto. So maybe they can use that money to earmark for him and go get a front of the line quality starter and some more bullpen help and a right-handed bat. But who's going to complain if you bring Soto to? I mean, no one. I'd be crazy. I'd be celebrating if I see Passan. I wake up in the morning and I see Passan tweeted out over the night. Passan and the Red Sox, and Soto have agreed to a long-term deal. I'd be happy. I'm not going to be mad about it. But it's not the end of the world if they go out and do other things. But you got to see him for a whole year. He was one of the cogs that got you to the World Series. And when Judge was struggling at times, he carried it. And then when Judge, so they complemented well each other. He did better in the playoffs than Judge did. People were actually walking Soto to get to. Who thought people would walk to get to an MVP caliber Judge? And he did. He struggled. And he just started getting a little hot. But Soto, to me, it's just like Soto's a generational talent. And the reason he doesn't have prolonged slumps is because of his eye. He can just keep, he can get walks and all of that. He's just that special talent. People like Judge and my guy, Rafael Devers, that are more of like swingers. When they get in that swinging mode, they don't get into that. It's just not going. So, hey, Andy, welcome for the comment. But
who's mine?
He probably means New York, but I don't know if he means the Mets or the Yankees or whatever team.
I'm guessing. I don't know. We had. I'm guessing the Yankees, but I don't know. Like I'm not. Obviously if the Yankees get Soto, I'm not gonna. I don't want Soto all that bad. I think he's a great player. I just think you allocate, like you said, you allocate a lot of money to one guy, but he is. Does have the best hand-eye coordination and the best eye in baseball.
That goes without saying. He definitely.
It's amazing.
Like I said, I wouldn't complain, but it's not my biggest thing. I would rather have, a couple of the pitchers we're going to get into, and then, and maybe, if you have to get a really Adames as a fallback, or,
we're going to jump into Adames. I want to. The Soto's a hot name. I've been seeing that everybody's offered $600 million plus. The Dodgers throwing $600 million. I don't know why the Dodgers would go get him. That would just, where's Betts going to play? Are they putting Betts back at short if you get Soto? Because he's got to play right field if he's anywhere. I guess in Boston that'd be a good spot. You put him in left field. But we'll get into more on Boston if that does happen, because I predict he goes to the Mets, but that's just me. I don't know. I'm not going on Twitter making a prediction on that, because
Yeah.
everybody makes a prediction like they know. No one
If
knows.
I had to predict, I would say Mets 1A, Yankees 1B probably, but
It's gonna come down to him, and I wouldn't. Does he want to go for the money, or does he want to go for the history and winning? Because Boston and New York definitely have that. And have that history, rich history, big baseball fan. The Mets, unbelievable fan base, but they don't have as much as recent rich history, since '86. So
yeah,
I
you
mean,
don't have
I
to
can
bring up
see it.
86. You don't have to bring up 86. But anyway,
Yeah.
all I know. So, I mean,
You bring up '04 to me all the time. Every
yeah, but
time
that's different. As my
you
team
throw
comes
an
out on top
'04,
in '04. So,
you got to throw an '04 in my face. But I
hey,
mean,
that's to me is like the greatest year of sports rooting in my life when the Red Sox did that, man. So,
the Red Sox. I mean, I want to know what your opinion is. Obviously, you got is it the left fielder for the Red Sox? Was it
well,
that
But O'Neill's probably leaving
O'Neill?
in
I
this.
mean, what if he ends up in Boston? I mean, you got a solid guy in center field, and Jared Duran, who was 285, 342 on base percentage, 34 stolen bases. Obviously, he's penciled in as one of the best young center fielders in the game right now. And then you got, was it Willer
Yeah,
Abreu?
Brother Abreu, who had a really good. He was a rookie. He won a Gold Glove as a rookie
Yeah, I
out
mean,
there.
253, solid rookie. I mean, but I've seen his name kind of thrown around in some trade rumors as
Yeah,
well. I
no,
don't
I
know.
do.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
his
don't
name's
know.
been mentioned in a lot of trade rumors. Same with Tristan Casas, which I'd be upset about because this kid I think could be a very good one of the best hitters in baseball over the next few years. If he's run into injury bugs, so I understand maybe that concern because some players just keep that. They're just look at Mike Trout. They keep on getting hurt over and over. Maybe they're afraid Tristan Casas is that guy. But every time he starts playing a lot, he starts getting in a groove. He seems to get hurt. But he has a really good eye. I mean, he's almost up there on like Soto level when he's not a big hacker, and they get mad at him sometimes because he's a guy that can hit the ball out of the park probably 40 times a year, but he's up there working walk sometimes. And it's like you got to balance it because some of the Red Sox guys are swinging for the fences every first pitch through the third pitch, and then he's one that will actually take, foul off a ball, take another one. And, it's just, he celebrates walks because he's just so proud of himself that he just worked a long count to get a walk. And Cora said, "Oh, I love that in the kid, but God, you just got to sometimes go up there and be a little more aggressive." So I would hate that. And I'm biased because not only is he on my favorite team, he's from my area in Pembroke Pines down here. And,
I
so
mean, it would be.
I think he's a stud in the making, but I've seen his name. But a lot of it all depends on the Juan Soto, the elephant in the room, because you got to decide if you get him, then you may not be able to pay for the big Burns or a Max Fried. So then you have to maybe trade to the White Sox some of your prospects and get a Crochet who's cheap for the next couple of years. And so it all depends on that. So we'll see. I mean, Soto's definitely is the market. It's like Otani last year was the market, was the big name, the only name that really people really cared about. This year, Soto's the big name on the market it's not even particularly close.
I mean, if once that, that'd be a scary, 2-3 there with Soto and Devers, because Devers would definitely protect Soto, or vice versa, because I mean Soto's going to bat in the 2 hole, so that'd definitely be scary. And I don't know. I mean, right center there is pretty deep, and his opposite field power is not there. Obviously, you get the ball in the hair, you can miss one and put it over the monster easily.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I say so. Yeah, I think Fenway fits him well. I mean, obviously, the short porch in Yankee Stadium fits him very well, but it's just.
But I don't. I mean, I think once Soto, I think a lot of people, once Soto goes, the dominoes will start going. We'll see the
Yes,
Santanders, the Teoscars.
I agree because whoever loses out on him, then we'll have that money. Like, okay, we didn't get him, but now we got to act fast before we're caught in musical chairs. The last one, without a seat. So someone's gonna go out there, wait for Soto, and then start pouncing on these other backup guys, their
Well,
backup plans.
I mean, it's Soto's the hot name. That's what everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know where he's going this year. And it's kind of exciting for baseball because, baseball's at off seasons where it's really boring. And this last two off season, it's been, it was Ohtani, and now it's Soto. So we're kind of you're getting this baseball in the news where, I'm watching Get Up and First Take, and they're not just talking football, they'll throw a baseball segment in there. So it's exciting for a baseball aspect that's trying to get, back into America's pastime. But
Yeah.
I mean, you spoke about it earlier. Another name to watch, and this guy's on, a lot of teams' radars, is Willy Adames. Had a solid bounce back here with the Brewers. Obviously, he's a shortstop. Red Sox are in him. Yankees looking at him. A guy who's got a lot of interest. Dodgers are right there looking at him too.
Of course.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to get a good, 175, 200 million.
Right. And like you said, I think he's the backup for the people that don't get Soto.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen everybody. That's one of their plan Bs. But I mean, if the Red Sox can go get Adames, which would be a scary signing, do you do your original plan with which the Red Sox wanted when they had Bogarts and they signed Trevor Story and they throw Story at second, and
Right.
you would have just put Adames instead of Bogarts? Would you like that?
Yeah, I would definitely like it. I think it would be a good move, and and that contract is going to be a rich contract, but nothing compared to the Soto contract. So that should allow these studio other moves to go get the aforementioned pitching that I really like. And I think we need a right-handed bat more than a lefty bat because we got tons and tons of lefties, and even our top prospects are lefties. So to me, it's a no-brainer, someone like that. But like I said, it's all wait and see until Soto signs, and then you better be quick though, because that's what happened last year. Like everyone should have known Ohtani was going to the Dodgers, but then like once he went to the Dodgers, then some people was like, "Oh my God, we got to go sign people quick." So hopefully, teams realize and are still negotiating with these guys.
I mean, it'll be interesting with Adames. Obviously he's a shortstop, but he said he's willing to move to third to play for a contending team. So, I mean, I know I'd personally take him on the Yankees if they lose out on Soto and throw him at third and put Chisholm at his natural position, which is second base. But, I mean, that'd be also an interesting signing for the Red Sox. Just, throw Story out there. You still got some solid young players who could play second base because Story has definitely been injury prone in his Boston short tenure.
Yeah.
But also it's like, what are the Red Sox going to do? Because now we're seeing one of the best farm systems in baseball and a handful of good, shortstop prospects who are right there on the brink. Marcelo Mayer, San Diego guy.
Campbell came out of nowhere and he can play the middle end. I mean, probably be a second base, but
a handful of guys who are, player of the year in minor league. So it's like, we obviously saw the Red Sox last offseason kind of hold off on that. Would they want to give a 7-year deal to Adames when you got a guy you could get come up from the system who you'd have cheap for
years,
and you're paying?
I'm with on that too. So it's going to be maybe Teoscar Hernandez, Tio Hernandez, they call him or whatever. To me, that's another possible. He could play left field, and he's a right-handed bat, and he
can play. He's versatile. He can play a lot of places, so that's good with Teoscar Hernandez, Tito as they call him, as you said. And that would like I'm with you too. Like I love Soto. He brought us, helped us get to the World Series, but is you allocating more money? Getting maybe 3-4 guys and allocating that 600 million plus, because they're saying everybody's over 600 million, and all the reports are he could get into 700 or even all the reports are he's gonna break Ohtani's yearly. He'll make more than Ohtani in a year. And the thing with Soto is Ohtani was willing to defer because he knew he's going to make so much money off of his endorsements and how much Japan was going to bring. Soto is not going to defer any type of money. No. And this will be, if he doesn't go back to New York, will be his fourth team. And, how many how many years? I mean, why? I want to know why San Diego didn't want him anymore. You
I don't know.
know,
I guess maybe they realized they weren't going to be able to give him the money he was looking for, and they would lose him. So they figured they get some prospects from you guys because they had already given up prospects to the. I know you say you guys didn't give up too much, but
oh, we
they,
gave up one. We gave up Michael King, who ended up having one of the lowest ERAs in baseball and was a Cy Young finalist. So it was
oh yeah,
a trade off for a guy you might have been able to not kept King and got him this year. But I mean, you had to get to the World Series. I mean, this is New
yeah.
York. But I mean, like you said,
Hold on 1 second. My dog is driving.
I think after Soto signs, in my opinion, the outfield class is still pretty strong. I mean, we're seeing. I mean, you got Santander who is not giving Judge power numbers, but he's still getting power
Oh no,
numbers.
man. Didn't he hit 30 or 40 something homers this year?
He got like 39 or 40, 41,
Yeah,
something like that. So he's got those power numbers. You got obviously Teoscar Hernandez. Santander, I think it's like 28, 29. Teoscar Hernandez is a little older. He's 32, but still putting up good power numbers and a solid defensive player, as we saw in the World Series, making that. Don't get me started on that.
I know. Don't worry. But
don't
he'll
get me
probably go
started
back to the Dodgers, is my guess. Now that he got a taste of winning, he'll probably go back to the Dodgers. But maybe if the Red Sox, blow him out of the water, or the Yankees blow him out of the water, more than the Dodgers, that must speak volumes. So, but the Red Sox ran on him last year, but I just didn't meet the Dodgers 1 year offer. I wish they had gone up to that amount. It would have been better, but they didn't. But we end up having O'Neill have a bust out year that I wasn't, so I can't complain too much. Now O'Neill's going to be gone via free agency, but at least for the most part, he was a good 1 year signing. So,
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people wish they went and signed Teoscar Hernandez because the Dodgers got the biggest steal of the offseason with as great as Betts and Ohtani were all year, they weren't that great in the postseason. They weren't that great in the postseason. Hernandez, that guy was solid all postseason. And I've even said Soto, if we're getting down to it, down to the nitty gritty, and you're talking about Soto, because I got a lot of Dodger fans. I'm from Southern California. Soto doesn't deserve Ohtani money. I'm like, hey, if we're getting down to it, Soto's had a better October than Ohtani did, hands down. They both, offensively, defensively is a whole other. Offensively, he had a better postseason.
No, for sure. He did. The guy proves, like I say, his eye and bat control, that just helps him a lot. And then so many of these guys, they don't have that. So like I say, I'm not badging on Soto. I would be the first one running down the street saying, we got Soto. But at the time, I'm not going to cry if they go and spend the other money. But like you said, Hernandez I wanted him last year. That's who I wanted the Red Sox to get. And they teased me last year, like, oh, he's going to be the fallback, because they pretended they kick care, but they were nowhere near the Ohtani. And Ohtani was going to stay out west, let's face it. It's closer to Japan. He was right there with the Angels. All he has to do is move down the freeway a little bit. I don't know your area that well. I don't know how close Los Angeles, Anaheim is to Dodgers, but he probably could have stayed in the same house and just went a different way to work every day.
Yeah, it's close enough. There's a lot of traffic, but it's close.
Oh yeah, I know that. I've heard that much. So he was going to go there, but then so not only did they get him, then they got the fallback guy. They're like, oh, that's supposed to be our fallback, and then they go get him, and then here they are again, already signed the top pitcher probably on the market. So it's insane what they're doing. But this is my. So Andy says he thinks it's either the Mets or the Yankees. That's what I would say.
I agree a bit, but
if it comes to straight money, it's the Mets. But if he wants other things,
on the side of the Red Sox signing Soto, and I know I'm not a casual baseball fan. I'm obviously diehard Yankees fan. I follow baseball. I know you follow. You're more a Red Sox guy. That's fine. But the casual baseball fan would, love that because the Red Sox. We stole a player from New York. We took him away from the arch rival. So
right.
that would. is it the best thing because you can I mean, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a guy you maybe have around for 15 years.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. I mean, to me, listen, when you get one of the best generational hitters, it's a good move. And yes, you take him away from your competition, but the Yankees are going to still go spin. So it's not like, yeah, you're going to take him and be able to rub it in the face if Soto has some good games against the Yankees. It's just like always hard to see your favorite guy, one of your former teammates, on the other rival playing, especially for fans more than players, because players all know it's business. But for fans, it's more hard. Like if Dan Marino had gone away from the Dolphins in his prime and came back and beat the Dolphins in some big game, I would have been crying for a week. Just seeing a former Dolphin come back. So it's just the same thing in baseball. It's just like, you don't want to see your star. Because I had to see Roger Clemens. Of course, this is before I knew all the steroid accusations and all that. But I had to see him play for the Blue Jays and the Yankees and win with the Yankees. And it was like a shot in the face because I was like, oh, my God, my guy that we drafted, the Red Sox drafted. And was,
I remember watching with Yankees and the Red Sox, and still when he was there, the Red Sox weren't what we and
no, they weren't. They didn't become that early 2000s team where they said
the whole time Roger Clemens is pitching, the whole stands is just Roger. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I was young, but that's just the baseball I love. I mean, I miss it because, I'm watching postseason this year, and the Yankees are finally back in it, and I'm like, where is Joe Buck? Where is Joe Buck? I need Joe Buck. I mean, I need Joe Buck. Tim McCarver's been gone for a long time, but I mean, when I hear Joe Buck, as great as he is, he's great in the NFL. Joe Buck and baseball go hand in hand, and I had to listen to all these other guys who are terrible. And, I'm like, I want Joe Buck. I want Joe Morgan, rest in peace. And I want John Miller, Vince Scully, who's,
I know. No, I know. Those are names
the same.
That are missed for sure.
But I mean,
well, I got good news. At least Bob Costas is stepping away from baseball.
Rob, thank you. You said that. Thank you. You said that. I 100% agree. Bob is stepping away. Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
I was saying that the only good thing about the Yankees hiring Aaron Boone is I never had to hear him in the booth ever again.
Hey, I know you're not a big Boone fan, but your team made it to the World Series, so he's not going anywhere.
I like these old school guys, and Boone's not really young anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got a lot of names. Red Sox. They've been, they've seemed like they've been active. Obviously, Adames will be interesting. I just looked at the roster and I kind of laughed a little bit because the Red Sox got a second baseman on the roster. His name's Nick Sogard. He's from Loyola Marymount University in Westchester, California. I scouted that guy when he was a sophomore. And I even was talking to the Brewer scout. I'm like, hey, I like this guy a lot. His uncle, I think, was Eric Sogard, who played uncle or cousin played, a couple of years here and there. But I'm just laughing. I'm like, hey, I saw this. I scouted him as sophomore.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he actually came up last year some. I mean, obviously he didn't put up great numbers, but they were, no power numbers whatsoever.
No, he was never a power hitter.
Yeah, but so it's just like I was thinking, who was he when he brought him up? Because we had a rash of injuries last year, and it's just they end up bringing him, and he actually did okay. So,
the interesting names, obviously, Adames, but then the pitching market is pretty hefty this year. With we got Corbin Burns, who the Red Sox have, said they've been on, but I mean, everybody's kind of in on Burns. I've been hearing maybe the Giants, but
now I saw your freaking team in on one of the guys that I really want. I would love.
I did. We did just have some news. Max Fried, I think I haven't seen much Red Sox news, but I'm gonna assume the Red Sox would be going in there. Obviously, they just came out and said Fried had a 90-minute Zoom call with the Yankees, which I'd love. Because I think even though he kind of had a down year, I still think he's a hell of a pitcher, and I
Me
love
too. And he's a lefty.
and
So
he's
the Red Sox could use a lefty starter because we're all right-handed strong. Just the opposite of our bats, where we're all left-handed. But so to me, I would love Max Fried to sign with the Red Sox. It'd be like, to me, a great signing.
and I mean, and it would add to that rotation. Obviously Tanner Houck.
Yeah, he came through. I wasn't so sure when he were going with these guys and Bello. We got a lot of young guys, so bringing a guy that has some postseason experience.
No, he was 9-10, but I mean the team was one game over 500. Bello.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's about basically par on course with the.
Yeah, Bello was 14-8. That's a key staple of the rotation. So I think Fried's there. I want to know if because we see Burns, Fried, they're top two guys. So obviously everybody's going to be there.
Yeah, I hope so, TD. We will see, TD, but I'm not banking on it. We will see him. So we will see.
He was,
I know Big Poppy is. He's right on that. Big Poppy's like all over social media and been hanging out with him.
Apparently, David Ortiz was at Thanksgiving with Juan Soto's family. I don't know how accurate that was, but that's what the report.
And that's what you said. We see so much misinformation out there. I even heard that. I heard rumors that Soto was on a private jet with the Mets owners and that he was hanging out with Big Pop. Yada yada yada. We're not going to know until Passan tweets it out, and it's going to be fun.
They're saying earliest could be Thursday.
Right, that's what I said. But then Passan's saying he's going to meet with teams over the weekend.
I'm sure he's. I don't know where the winter meetings is this year.
It's December 8th and somewhere in Dallas. I think it's in Dallas or Texas, somewhere in Texas, Houston, Dallas, somewhere in that area. I think it's Dallas.
I've been to the winter meetings. It's exciting.
It's December 8th, which is the Monday. So, but I think it's in Dallas. I heard the guy on MLB Network 2024. Let me see, but I think it's Dallas, but I don't want to give our people wrong information.
No, yeah, I mean, I went to the one in Vegas, and it was exciting.
Yeah, it's in Dallas.
It was fun. There's a lot going on there. And
it is in Dallas, so I was right. So it was
winter meeting's a good time. The amount of baseball people you see out there, it's fun. But I mean,
when were you there? You said, I forget. When were you there?
It was 2020 in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was a good time. Saw all those people, got to talk to us. Saw the Marlins man was there.
Rob, I'm serious. Big Poppy he is a Red Sox fan. So like a six or Big Poppy. And listen to what Big Poppy said. If Soto signed for the Sox, build a statue of Big Poppy. Hey, TD, I would love that. But like I said, I'll take your word, but I'm still
TD. I don't know. You said if Soto signs, you should build Big Poppy a statue anyways.
Yeah, I know. He definitely deserves a statue because he's the one that basically ended the curse against your team, man. I give Big Poppy like he finally broke the Yankee curse over us in 2004. So I just, he's a big part of it.
But I mean, obviously it's big names. Burns, we're seeing Burns and Fried both, Burns could go back to the Orioles. He's got the Giants checked in on him. The Yankees checked in on him. Fried obviously had that big Zoom meeting with the Yankees. Where do they pivot? Because, I mean, you got Jack Flaherty. I mean, would you like to see Jack Flaherty, or the guy who was kind of, started off really hot with the Cardinals, couple down years, had a nice bounce back year with the Tigers, and then was big in the postseason? Would you like to see them maybe pivot, sign a Flaherty to a lesser a contract so they could allocate a little more money to areas of needs you see, Rob?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like I always believe you can get bargains in baseball because for whatever reason, some players get overlooked and whatever, and you can get bargains, kind of going back to that money ball, with the A's, Billy being like, sometimes you look for players and you can get them at a better value. Just look at their numbers, and they may not have the flash as some of these players with the big names, but they can still help you win ball games throughout the season. I mean, Walker Buehler. I know the horrible name for a pitcher,
Oh my!
Walker, but he's another guy that he's just like a. Is he going to be your ace? Probably not, but he could be solid, eat up innings, and he comes through in big games. He pitches well when it's like the pressure's on.
You
So
don't want Walker Buehler. That's when the Yankees have talked about. He's very interested to come in the Yankees. I know he just beat us and had a great postseason. I want Walker Buehler so bad. This guy, when he's healthy, obviously, had the two Tommy Johns, is one of the best pitchers in baseball. His fastball has zip, and maybe now even with his after those two injuries, he's starting to learn how to pitch a little more. I love Walker Buehler. I'd be very pissed if he went to anywhere but the Yankees. Obviously, he turned down his qualifying offer with the Dodgers, which kind of is maybe it was the Dodgers organization saying we're going to turn this down for you so you could get either come back, get a nice contract, or go somewhere else, get a bigger contract. Because if he gets a qualifying offer, I don't see any team signing him because of that draft pick compensation,
right. Well, Nick Pivetta, he turned down the qualifying offer too.
I was surprised. I mean, but you got to, obviously Flaherty, 29. I haven't seen. Sean Manaea, who had a hell of a bounce back year with the Mets. I like Shane Bieber. I think that'd be another.
For me, that's a Red Sox signing right there because we've worked on like Giolito coming in and then he get injured or fuss, but like worked with guys coming off injuries in the past. When we signed Paxton, we stuck with him for a year before he could have been pitched. So I could see like Bieber because some people are saying he may not start the whole year or whatever, because of so. To me, that'd be like a good signing. Have him in your back pocket.
You spoke about Garrett Crochet with the White Sox. Obviously, he's been a hot name since the trade deadline. And obviously now people are predicting Cubs and Reds. But, would you like not signing these big guys and going for Crochet, who still would be cheap on the couple years, and going from trading from your depth, from your farm system?
I know, but that's why I think this depends. Like TD saying there, include costs and get this deal done and the Crochet thing. But I wouldn't even call, of course, he's just bringing up a current player, of course, but that's before you said prospect. But like even in a prospects, to me, like Roman Anthony, he's like a I want to see him because the Red Sox don't get the number one prospect too often. So I want to see him in a Red Sox uniform before they go away because I'm old enough to remember when the Red Sox traded away Jeff Bagwell, who was one of our top prospects coming up, and we traded away Jeff Bagwell for a pitcher that most people never even heard of, Larry Anderson, because we needed a reliever going down at the trade deadline. And we traded basically the Hall of Famer Jeff Bagwell, and that trade kicks me. But most prospects, because most of the guys that we gave up for Chris Sale, you don't even know, like Moncada, he's okay, and then now the guy, the Strobel, however you say it, Colbel, he's like a reliever or whatever. He's not like everyone thought, oh my God, this guy's throwing 102 before everyone in the world was throwing 102. So to me, yeah, so many times prospects don't turn out, but as fans, I think we all fall in love with them because we read about them coming up in our system, and you're like, oh, we can't trade them. But if you can bring an ace type, but the thing is, Crochet, I don't even know what he's good, but he's last year was his first year as a starter. So what's his? Well,
he'll be good. He's young. He's still under. I think he's team control for 2.
Oh no, he is. That's why I say if you sign a Soto and then you go get him, he's team friendly contract.
That's a good pivot. If you get Soto, because you could, you're gonna, if you get Soto, you're basically tapping out on a lot. Which I've heard Costas' name thrown out there before, but I've also heard the White Sox might not be interested because they want guys who a little further down the line that they're not ready to compete, which, as we saw, they're definitely not ready to compete.
Yeah. They were throwing Willer Abreu and stuff like that out there, but I don't think the White Sox want him because he's already had his rookie year and he's already on the major league countdown on the roster for contracts. They want guys that can control longer for the contract.
And I mean, Costas would be interesting. I mean, I could see him trying to go younger just because they're. I mean, you set the record for losses. You're obviously not ready to compete, and nobody's going to want to go play for the White Sox. I think there'll probably be a lot of competition for Crochet this year. Just I'm hearing Reds, Mets are high on him. Reds, Cubs, excuse me. Reds made a deal. Reds did, got Brady Singer from University of Florida in that Jonathan India trade, who is from University of Florida too, which I've always said that it's come down this past year, but is a feeding ground for MLB players.
Yeah.
And because your son goes there, so.
Yeah, no, I know. No, he does go. I'm trying to read what TD, but yes, my son does go to University of Florida. And but it brings me up Bregman, an LSU actual player, though. He's another free agent that we haven't really touched on, but I don't know if I'm not so sure where I fall. I don't know if he's still prime Bregman and he wants like big money, like Manny Machado type contract from what. I don't think he's worth a Manny Machado type contract at his age. So I hope he's willing to settle for less, but because he's another guy
where you'd slot Bregman in. Obviously, he's a third baseman played third his whole MLB career. Obviously,
he says he's willing to move to second base. Supposedly, I don't know.
Obviously, played if you didn't know, he played shortstop at LSU and did a phenomenal job. But I don't know where he is. I would take Bregman in a heartbeat. I love Alex Bregman.
Same here, TD. I would love a Don, but damn. But I don't know. Really.
But really, I mean, we spoke about this. We spoke about this, and I know you were all in my comments last week talking players when I was trying to talk Mets baseball. But
I know.
Don't worry, it wasn't just you. Everybody was in there. This week we got a bunch of Red Sox fans, which I'm a Yankees fan, but I love baseball, so I'm fine talking baseball. I love talking baseball. It doesn't matter. I'll go off on the Yankees more than anybody else. But and I lost my train of thought right there. You were in my comments last week. You brought up some interesting bullpen pieces that I think would be solid bullpen pieces. Do you think? I want you to talk about some of the guys you're looking at, and then I'm going to ask you another question on the recent signing with the Red Sox.
Well, yeah, because now I think I was big kind of on Tanner Scott because I seen him pitch down here. I actually seen him pitch because I'm a Red Sox fan. So when the Red Sox came to South Florida over the 4th of July weekend this past year, I went down to all the games, and Tanner Scott mowed us down. So I was like, man, he was like. I go, this guy's a beast. That's before, obviously, he was traded at the trade deadline out west. But to me, that's who I was saying. But now that I think we got Chapman, I think that's off the radar. I think from what I'm hearing, that Tanner Scott wants a lot of big money, which is always risky to throw to hard throwers coming out of the bullpen because you never know, and then they never know when they're going to go down and injuries. And just all of a sudden not be what they were. So if that's true, the 1 year for Chapman to me is, okay. Like I said, throw all his off-field issues, throw away his walk issues. He still has nasty stuff. He still threw one at 104 or 103 or some crazy thing last year, I think, against Manny Machado, actually. That is name, but it's, to me, the guy's still a beast. He should be able to help our bullpen because we had no hard throwers, like I said, at the end of last. Because we had Jansen, but even he throws a cutter. He's not throwing. We finally got a flamethrower in the bullpen, which is nice in this day and age.
Hey,
yes, I know.
He would walk me because I'm not kidding. When I was playing, I'm at the plate. I was more like a Juan Soto. I like to work the count, foul off pitches. I piss off the pitcher and the catcher and then get a base hit. I got cussed out from one of my catchers in college because I fouled off 6 pitches and they got a single, and he said, F you foul off 6 pitches, then you get a base hit, and I'm still sitting here with 1 out. It made my it made my day when I did that. I'm like, I'll get 2 strikes, and even like when we're going back to Soto, that his plate discipline, the home run that got us to 5-3 in that game against the Guardians was just like, hey, he's like, hey, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that, and the pitcher he gives me something I want because he's getting sick. Let's see if he can sneak this by me. And no, once it's just Chapman will drive me nuts.
Where's your $600 million contract,
Yeah,
Russ?
right. I wish I'm 5'10".
So anyway,
but I mean, Chapman will drive you nuts because he loves that slider, and that thing will drive you nuts.
I like Martin too, TD. I like him. Even though Martin's like a target for a hitted ball coming back at him, man. He's like every time it's a hard hit.
The other name I've heard the Red Sox is maybe going for David Robertson, who has had a couple nice bounce back years. Obviously he was supposed to be the guy replacing Mariano Rivera, never worked out. But that's another cheap name. You could get him maybe 1 year, $14 million.
What's that? I missed the name. I was
David Robertson.
Oh yeah, I know. That guy's been around forever. So, but TD, yeah, I'm not saying I like Chapman at all. I'm just saying he signed, so there's nothing too much I can do about it at this point. I might as well, because I was not expecting that. It just shows though, like I hadn't even seen the names mentioned to him that much. No one was picking him. So,
but we'll go into just quick. We're running here up on time, Rob. We've had killer conversation running up on time, but we'll go quick on the conversation I really have dreaded talking about, which is Commissioner Rob Manfred has floated the new rule, golden at-bat rule, which he says seems to be gaining traction, which would allow each team to pinch hit one batter, doesn't matter the order, anytime in the game, basically allowing a team to use their best hitter whenever they want.
I would say easy. Hell no on that. No way. That's not baseball. I can live with the pitch clock. I can live with the only being able to break, pitcher only being able to throw 2 times over. I can live with the larger bases, but I cannot live with, let me bring up Ohtani in the, in a crazy Chris.
I see it now. We could throw up Juan Soto when Verdugo was up there, looking like a fool against Walker Buehler. But I mean, I can live with it. We're already kind of hamstringing the pitchers on the 2 pickoff rule. You can't do this as in baseball, like you said. It'll drive me nuts. But guys, we had some thank you, TD, everybody who commented. We had some good Red Sox in there.
You can see what passing. Yeah, I saw that earlier today. That was, I said, it broke right before we were coming on, that he may not pick until the weekend or whatever, but it should be soon. So it's coming soon because the winter meetings start December 8th. So we should be coming soon.
We got a lot of good Red Sox fans in there, which is great to see. Even though I'm a Yankees fan, everybody, thank you.
I can only see the Google. I can only see the YouTube people commenting.
We got a lot of good people in there.
Well, you, TG, thank you, and all you people from the other channels that I can't see comment. Thank you.
Please remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, everybody, jumping in. Even though Rob was here, it makes my job easier when you comment. Sometimes, Rob, I'm by myself, and I do want to ask a question, and I see people in there, and I hear crickets. I hate analytics. I could go a full episode on ripping analytics, but we're up against the clock, guys. Rob, thank you for coming on, talking Red Sox baseball. I'm glad you're back. You're always welcome whenever you want to come on. You just shoot me a text, and you're always welcome to come back. It was great. No, I'm not. No, I hate the Red Sox. I'm a baseball fan. I know my baseball like the back of my hand.
He's a Yankees fan, but it's okay. We get along, and me and him have complete opposites in sports, but we get along. So
I'm a Yankees Jets fan. He's a Dolphins Red Sox fan. So I hate all his teams, but I will say this: my hatred for the Red Sox has gone down. Just the rivalry's not the same anymore since the early 2000s. It's not the same. It doesn't have that same but we're running up against it. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Please remember, like, comment, and subscribe. I want to thank Rob Mosley for coming in and talking some Red Sox baseball. Don't get me started. I could go with you. I agree with you. It's terrible. But this is On Deck here on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan.
Thank you, guys.
Here with Rob Mosley. You guys have a great night.